I hate it when I forget to take this cap thing off. It really bothers me, doesn't it, Allie?
Yeah.
Allie, codename Twig.
Pam, you can deal with it.
Ow! I'm Pam, and I hope that Adam and Allie will like this idea, because if they don't, I'll be disappointed.
This year, I'm actually semi-retired teaching Calculus BC.
Go!
Somebody did in the other
Mr.
class,
Hughes!
They took their phone in the middle of diplomacy and
Did you throw it?
My name is Ms. Delphas. I teach AP Environmental Science.
I'm Kathy Messenger. I teach chemistry and advanced science research.
My name is Kristen Austin, and I teach AP English and Creative Writing.
My name is Rafael Aguayo, and I teach ceramics.
I'm Lindsay Schubert, and I teach AP Psychology and U.S. History through Art, Media, and Entertainment.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Belaich, and I teach AP European History and Leadership.
I'm Kathleen Ware, and I teach 3 honors English classes and 2 collaboration with Mr. Clark.
Hi, my name is Mike Balthorst, and I teach English 10 honors and AP Computer Science.
Hi there, my name is Paris Soto, and I teach AP English 12.
Bonjour, I am Nikki Lewicki. I teach French.
Hello, my name is Dominic Calmels, and I teach Spanish 1 and Spanish 5 AP.
Hi, I'm Mr. Burns, and I teach AP Physics and Earth and Space Science.
My name is Thad Smith, and I teach Art 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I'm Doug Garrett, teach English and journalism here.
Alan Rudolph, I teach AP US and AP Euro.
My name is Sarkis Kelartinian. This year I teach Algebra 2 Accelerated and Calc AB classes.
My name is Ann Jordan, and I teach Japanese 1, Japanese 3 honors, and Japanese AP.
I'm Sharon Smith, and I have taught almost every English class that there has ever been at this school.
I come from the state of Louisiana.
Where do I come from? The right.
I'm from New York, just outside of New York City.
I come from San Jose. I was born in Los Gatos Community Hospital.
I'm actually from Los Gatos. I was born in Los Gatos, so I haven't gone very far.
I was born and raised in Southern California.
I come from Southern California.
I actually was born in Los Gatos, went to Blossom Hill Elementary in Fisher, and then graduated in Los Gatos in 1999.
I come from Huntington Beach, Southern California.
I grew up in a small town called Cedar Grove, New Jersey.
I was adopted at the San Mateo Agency.
Basically, I come from the Walnut Creek area.
I'm from a small town just north of San Francisco. It's called Novato.
I grew up in a small farming and coal mining town in south central Illinois called Carlinville.
I am from Missouri. I grew up in Kansas City, and I lived there until I was 21 years old.
I am from the Bay Area.
Where am I from? Earth.
I'm Armenian. I'm from Beirut, Lebanon.
California, Japan mostly. I'm originally from Belleville, Illinois. I grew up in Indiana.
Defense mechanisms?
Family and torturing students. That's a joke, the last one.
Well, obviously the environment is important to me. I want to leave a world that's better than the world I came into.
I really think that relationships is most important.
I just want to make my little corner of the world a better place while I'm here.
Realizing that my life is a work of art and I get to create it, which is wonderful.
My family, and doing a job that I love and feel gives something back.
Building positive relationships with people.
Definitely family, my students, my animals. Learning is really important to me, actually.
I think the most important thing to me is the relationships in my life, my family and friends, and the people I love.
Being kind and curious and compassionate. Forgiveness too would be really up there. Forgiveness of self and others.
My dog, my family, and I really, my job is really important to me.
I think it's important in life to have balance.
As a family man, making sure my kids are on a path to find success and happiness, however they define it.
Family, friends, curiosity, and experiences.
Connections and love.
What's important to me? Life.
Responsibility, to fulfill my responsibilities and my obligations.
My grandson at the moment.
Well, in general, I hope to be a good role model to all my students.
Come out smarter than they came in, or better educated at least.
To give them a sense that they can have an impact on the environment and also just on the world around them in general.
Help them survive chemistry.
Building their confidence and making them feel good in the classroom.
Give them tools to help create the most beautiful life that they can experience.
To get my students to keep learning, I hope that I can generate that sparking.
To make students feel important and included, like they have a safe place to go.
I want to inspire, I want to motivate students to learn, to just be really good, genuine people.
Voice, vision, and courage. And those are really the things I try to help my students develop. And over the years, I would actually add a fourth one, community, that I want the class to be kind to each other and treat each other well.
It's for you guys to be prepared for college, and that's really prepared for life, and not just intellectually or academically, but to have some sense psychologically. I want to give you guys some tools that might actually be helpful.
As a teacher, it's really important to me to inspire students to be always curious and inquisitive about the world around them, and always to challenge them to do things or think that they're not capable of doing.
To get my kids excited about learning and also competent at learning, because what a lot of students don't realize is they're students for life.
To get students to be better people from the time they enter the high school until they're out of the high school, so that we can send good people out into the world.
To make and continue to make those connections and to explore ideas with my students.
What is your goal as a teacher? Continue learning.
To work with the students who appreciate math. It's very important for me to see that all of my students, they learn as much as they can.
I try to make every moment count in class and be worthwhile.
Help my students to be the very best they can be.
I told you this, buy real estate. I don't know why you guys don't want me to say that.
I wish somebody had told me that it's okay to not be perfect, because I feel like I spent a lot of years just trying to be perfect, and you never can be. You just kind of want to be the best you can be, and that's going to be different for everybody.
When one door closes, another door opens, but often we look at the closed door with such longing and so regretfully that we don't see that the other door has opened.
As you go through life, you realize that bad things are going to happen, but you want to focus on the good things at any moment in your life, because there'll always be bad things, but the good things are what help you get through, and realize they'll come again.
That we are in total control, that we are our best teacher.
To be loyal to your true friends instead of trying to be popular.
Life goes on, and the moments in high school sometimes feel like the biggest deal, but in the big picture, a lot of the things that we worried about then don't matter now.
I wish I had known that it's more important to be who you really are instead of who others want you to be. I wish I had known that my parents were not in total control of my life.
Grades don't matter that much. Relationships matter a lot. You get to decide whatever you want to be.
That perfectionism is the path to misery. I wish that I had been told that instead of being so judgmental and having the default setting just be judge, to try to shift it and be more curious and ask more questions.
To have more fun, to just kind of relax a little bit about things. To try classes that weren't necessarily of my obvious interest.
That you don't especially need to do the track right away of doing high school, and then college, and then job, and then kids. I wish someone had told me, maybe do a gap year, maybe do a year off to go abroad and kind of think about what you want. Life is short and you gotta have fun sometimes too.
Knowing that real happiness is helping others achieve what they define to be happiness. That adults can be just as clueless as kids, they're just better at hiding it, and always wear sunscreen.
Pursue what makes you happy. That is above all important in life. Everything is temporary. So all the bad stuff that's happening, temporary. Unfortunately, that also means the good stuff, also temporary.
That you don't need to stress about high school as much as people do. You should get to know as many people as you can, and that if you don't keep those connections with people in high school, it's okay. Though I did marry my high school sweetheart.
What are some of the things you wish you had known in high school? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
I think I've forgotten.
Probably one of the things might have been interesting to know how to have fun while I'm working.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it would have helped me to know anything, because I was such a smarty pants and thought I knew everything.
That grades are not really as important as we think, that doing your best in learning is actually the important thing.
He was a senior, and he managed to get himself into some major disciplinary trouble in the spring of his senior year, and he got expelled. A negotiation was made that he would be able to finish high school at a continuation high school. So unfortunately, at the continuation high school, there was nobody who could teach him calculus. So I went there twice a week until the AP exam, because he put all that time into it. I'm happy to say that, as I recall, he made a 5 on the exam, and last I heard he was on track to become an engineer.
So I've met with him like before every test to review the material, to study the material, to teach him study strategies.
I actually, over my February break, had to go to Santa Clara and hang out all day while he collected data. Writing recommendation letters at the last minute.
I actually babysat a student who was a junior. So it was my first year of teaching, and I didn't know that I could say no.
First student, I had the discipline. I wasn't real comfortable, but this is a young man who later just became one of my best friends, and he was a person who called me after his first child was born before he called his father.
I don't know if I've ever really done like big grand gestures that are memorable. I think it's actually the little things.
I invited a student to, when she was really struggling with her parents, when my kids were babies, I had her come and babysit a lot, and so just to try to get her to see what a normal functioning family looks like.
I had a student, and this was before Los Gatos High, that she was a senior, and for whatever reason she wasn't coming to school. She would show up once every week or two. She actually lived on the way to work for me, and so the deal was I'd pick her up in the morning, and if she came every day, on Friday I'd buy her an ice cream. And she then had perfect attendance.
She was learning English as a second language. She's from Mexico, and she had been in my class for only a day or two and was already going through bullying, racism. She was going through legal battles with custody with her parents, and so I helped her a lot with translating with her parents and stuff, legal documents after school. I gave her rides home because she didn't have a ride home.
One of my top students in her junior year became pregnant, and she wanted to have the baby, and so I went out of my way to help her learn AP Physics at home. And she actually showed up and took the test and did very well on it. And so that was a lot of work, but I was happy I was able to support her in her decision.
And let them cry on my shoulder, and giving them all sorts of comfort, both in class and out of class, and then also giving them the time to experience that and to know that being sad was okay.
What's the most you've ever done for a student? It's not quantifiable.
I'm not sure there's one particular student I can say I've done a lot for them, but in general, with the Calc AB classes, my favorite part is having AP review classes, extra sessions after school before the APs start. Sometimes we have music, we have food, and then we just solve problems.
So I think, you know, there are lots of things that I've done that were not directly related to teaching, but they were about just being human and helping a student.
I'm going to interpret that question broadly and mention my association with Fractured Follies. I was in some funny films like Boogeyman and Honey Badger and Harlem Shake, walking down the main street of Los Gatos with a helmet on my head. So I never in my wildest dreams thought I'd would do that. But
So I'm sitting there in the middle of diplomacy. Half the students are angry at me because they're losing the game as if it's my fault, and in fear of their grade. And so one girl made a little Snapchat picture of me, and then she put little devil horns on me and me carrying a trident, and she had written underneath, "The devil."
On a field trip, one of the parent chaperones asked me out on a date.
And the kids were all engaged and they're asking questions and they're answering, and I call on this one girl who's super bright and she goes, "Did you get your hair cut?" Sophomore boys who were learning how to light Bunsen burners, boiling water, and wanted to know how hot that flame was. So they put the thermometer in the flame, it exploded, and I now give that as part of my pre-lab instructions.
My first year at Los Gatos, I was sitting on my stool, which I still have in the front of the room, and I was lecturing and I was really into it, and all of a sudden I noticed this albino spider was dangling down from the ceiling, and it was right in front of my face, but none of the other students saw it, and I screamed and literally fell off the chair onto the ground, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy, but I loved it.
That is just way too hard, because one of my favorite things about teaching is that I laugh every day, every single day.
That same student, we did a variety show, and we actually took pottery wheels on the stage, and he was like, thought he was Joe Potter, and he was good, but he actually, in front of a crowd of 500 people in the auditorium, lost it, and then he got up, he smashed the pot, and he started dancing, and the crowd went wild, and it was hilarious.
So, like my second year teaching, before I was tenured, I was teaching Huckleberry Finn, and told the kids that they needed to get out their books, and one of the students said, "What book do you need us to get out?" And I said, switch the first letters. Instead of Huck Finn, get out your... That was awful. I was sure I was going to be fired.
So this also isn't Los Gatos High. This is back on the East Coast. Class ended, and a kid comes up and says, "Hey, I found this in a desk," and it was a pot pipe. And I was co-teaching with this woman, Mary Jo, and we say, "Thank you very much, and we'll deal with it." And Mary Jo, without thinking much about it, takes the pot pipe, puts it in her front pocket, and goes to teach next class because she didn't have time to go. And so we're teaching the next class, and then all of a sudden this boy, Terry, in the back goes, "Hey, that's my pipe!"
Probably when I was trying to teach the research paper unit, I was on the stool of death over there. This kid kept tapping his pencil, and then he just like wouldn't stop. It was like, research paper, we got a lot to do. And I lunged to get his tapping pencil, and my foot got caught in the stool from death, and I fell down, and the stool fell on top of me. But I just pretended like nothing happened. I got right back up, and I could feel blood dripping down my leg.
So she would consistently leave her food behind, and the next day there was just this giant trail of ants from the outside all the way in my room, all the way to her desk, and it kind of followed her out in the hallway too. It was kind of gross.
I like to have fun with students who fall asleep in my class, and one time a student fell asleep on a table like this with his head in his hands, and it happened to be Spirit Week and it was hat day, and so we got a cowboy hat and put it on him. He didn't wake up, and so we took pictures of him. I'm sure if that happened today, it would have been an Instagram hit.
My first year of teaching, the second day of school, it was the first time I had ever seen this class, and of course this stellar student walks in late, and because he's late, he has to sit right in front, and he's maybe 4 feet from me, and as soon as he sits down, a pack of Marlboro Reds falls out of his pocket, which clearly not a good way to start the year.
A funny story, they're only for class.
A couple of years ago, I had a student for a Christmas gift. She gave me her picture. It was quite interesting.
When I came here to Los Gatos, I had never taught in a school where there were this many Caucasian people. And my daughter, who started as a freshman here, she had never gone to a school where there had been this many, and she was actually uneasy about it. And she was going to play volleyball. And I dropped her off the first day of volleyball conditioning camp. She saw like blonde ponytail, tall blonde ponytail, running, one after the other, and she was like, "Mom, never mind. Mom, I can't get out of the car." And I said, it's good for you. You'll learn to, get along with all kinds of cultures. It was like the weirdest thing to say. She became like, they're her best buddies, the VBGs, they call themselves. And
I travel a lot with a speech and debate team. When we showed up at the airport with all of their debate evidence covered in biohazard stickers, and the security guards pulled us aside and made us unpack all of the paper and everything to show them that there wasn't actually anything awful.
Okay, it sounds so crunchy, like, oh, that's, you know, hug crystals.
I just learned what on fleek is. So that's always fun.
Go.
Oh, another one.
Is this gonna like go somewhere where everyone's gonna see it?
Yes. Yeah, we're gonna put it online.
Well, then I'm
Send
not
it to
gonna
all your
answer any of these
family.
questions.
Mr. Hughes, Ms. Racklin is waiting for me and she's going to be very upset if I'm late.
Who's the most important person here?
Ms. Racklin.
No!